update on the Schefter M&M's controversy to catch people up? Yeah, I do have an update on this.
Okay, what we got?
So Adam and I were at a suite at the Knicks game a week ago today.
Correct.
And he tasted these stale M&Ms, or so he said, stale M&Ms. He could not get over how good they were. We've been trying to figure out what were they. We've settled on maybe that they were caramel M&Ms, which I told Adam yesterday about this on text, and he said, all I know is I've never tasted anything like that, and they were better than what I expected. Don't know whether they were stale or whether it was caramel, but we need to get to the bottom of this.
Blind taste test with Adam Schefter.
Okay, you have this idea. Walk us through this on the air before we get back to the Rodgers news here. Go ahead.
So we're about ready to move into a new studio. And once we get into a new studio, I think this is when this takes place because we're going to need to get a bag of regular M&Ms, open it up, and just leave it out for a while. So that they can get a little stale.
So maybe about a week?
Maybe about a week.
Okay. Regular or peanut? Because I think he thought they were peanut.
Peanut.
Well, no, I think regular. But here's why.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the next time Adam joins us in studio, I think we should do a blind taste test. Adam is blindfolded. We have one bowl of regular stale M&Ms and one bowl of caramel M&Ms. And the reason I say not peanut, because you can obviously tell the distinction between the texture in a peanut M&M and a caramel M&M. And so I think we do a blind taste test for him to decide, A, which one is better, and B, which one he ate that night.
I'm all for that. Is there any possibility that it was any other M&M? Like, is there
No,
other?
with peanut butter, you would know.
Well, that's what Pat is speculating, that maybe it's peanut butter. But
So why don't we just get all four?
But do we make all?
Why are we complicating it? Just get all four.
Do we make every one of them stale? Because the stale theme is the theme here with him.
No, just regular stale.
So
I would say regular and the peanut stale.
Okay, good.
Let the peanut butter and the caramel be fresh.
Are there any other flavors?
Because then we can eat the rest of them after he's done.
Are there any other flavors that we're missing out on?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so then that's the move.
They have some,
Like
novelty
specialty? flavors,
but I don't think that those are in the mix.
But they won't. I mean, you go to sweets probably more than all of us. Maybe not, but would they put the novelty M&Ms in the sweet? Isn't it like you buy in bulk for all the different?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway, okay, Smalls. We left off. You had a question off of Louis Riddick saying, "Hey, I'm all in on Rodgers to the Steelers in February. It may be too late now." That triggered what question?
Well, I was thinking about this last night, and I wanted to ask Cece, as a guy who's been in a locker room and been in the championship locker room, how something like this plays out. So you have guys who know that they're going to be on the Steelers. They've been working out individually, getting ready for the season, but also building that relationship and that foundation with their teammates together. And the most important position on the team is the quarterback position. And if this is playing out the way that we're all deducing that it is, which is that Rodgers is going to go to Pittsburgh, he has some sort of handshake deal in place with them. I don't want to sign until X date because then technically I haven't missed anything and it's not a headline, and then I don't have to do all this offseason stuff that I don't want to at this stage in my career. How does that translate to the locker room? Because if I'm a player who is committing myself to winning with this organization, and the guy who's supposed to be in the position that inherently is the biggest leadership position by nature doesn't want to be part of everything we're doing together, not only in the regular season, but when it's tougher in the off season, how am I supposed to translate that? How does that present in the locker room? Also, if things go left and it's a tough patch during the season and Aaron Rodgers tries to exert himself as a leader, if I'm a player in that locker room, I'm thinking, you didn't even want to be here. You didn't want to be a part of all this. Why am I supposed to blindly follow you into battle and listen to what you want to say when you were not committed to this the way the rest of us were?
Smalls is landing exactly how you think it is. Guys in that locker room are pissed off because those dudes are sacrificing time away from their families, time away from their hobbies, everything else that they could be doing in the world to try to get better at football. That's what they're doing. Right? And I know people want to be dismissive of the off-season strength and conditioning program. Oh, it's OTAs. They're not even padded practices. Oh, it's just mini camp. You still got 2 months of training camp once we get to late July, August. There's plenty of time to get better. If none of this stuff in the off-season mattered, then the coaches, then the front offices wouldn't require it from players. You wouldn't see all of these big money guys on these rosters have these incentives or de-escalators built into their contracts for participation in the offseason program and the practices. So they matter. The coaches, the front offices of NFL teams have told you this time of year matters. And the majority of the Pittsburgh Steelers understand that. That's why those guys are there. So it's playing out exactly how you think it is. Those guys are sick of it. Do you know how I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are sick of it? Because Cam Hayward told us so months ago.
Right.
Go back to March 18th. They asked him the question on the Not Just Football podcast, his podcast. And he said, I'd rather have this done. I don't know what's going to end up happening, but I'm tired of talking about the quarterback situation. And he says, yeah, I'm not doing any darkness retreat. I don't need that crap. The pitch is simple. If you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, come be a part of it, so be it. That's what, either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. It's that simple. That's what Cam Hayward said about Aaron Rodgers. Now, he walked that back a little bit. He softened it, cushioned the blow a little bit, because I'm sure people in the organization had something to say about it because we're trying to recruit this guy, and we know how mercurial he is. But if they were sick of it in mid-March, you think they're sick of it early June? So getting ready to go into minicamp next week? Come on, man.
Well, I thought too about our conversation yesterday with Karan Butler and him doing the conditioning that they asked the players to do as part of the coaching staff, because the message is the message. How can I get the players to buy in to what we're preaching if I'm not doing it myself? If you're supposed to be the quarterback and the leader of the team, how do you get the team to believe in you if you're not doing the same things that they're doing?
God, I love using heat culture against Rodgers. That's amazing.
I figured you would like that.
You should feed me that.
I had to sneak that in for you.
So after Lou Riddick yesterday on Get Up on ESPN said, hey, I was in on this. I'm kind of trending towards maybe it's too late. Peter Schrager, ESPN NFL analyst, had this to say about the situation with Pittsburgh and Rodgers yesterday.
And this isn't the Jets last year or 2 years ago where it's this desperate franchise and, the savior Aaron Rodgers. No, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. This Pittsburgh Steelers that has all those Super Bowl trophies and has veteran guys in the locker room who think they could be competitive this year. How about Cam Hayward, who's already spoken out publicly, Minkah Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, who's not there in camp right now. Truth of the matter is this, the Steelers, as Lewis said, put themselves in this corner. When Aaron Rodgers met with them and the Giants, Aaron Rodgers said, I do not have a timetable. If you're not comfortable with that, go ahead and move on. The Giants promptly moved on and signed Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, and drafted a rookie quarterback that's going to compete for the starting job at some point this season. The Steelers sat on their hands, waited, and said, it's on you. I've gotten texts from Steelers people the last 2 months saying, no update, no update. Guess what? I texted someone this morning. The text was, no update.
So what Peter said is the Steelers are not the Jets, obviously, in terms of the historical aspect of the franchise. But are they acting like the Jets right now?
Absolutely. How are they not acting like the Jets is the better question.
The Jets at least got the deal done early.
True, but...
I mean, the Jets almost may have done this better. If you're going to want them, get them.
But the Jets gave him what he wanted. They gave him the freedom and the power that he wanted. And that presented itself in a lot of ways. Coaching hires, personnel decisions, him going to Egypt. It presented itself differently than it does right now in Pittsburgh. But if you think about it, the exact same thing is happening. They are acting from a place of desperation, and they're giving him a special set of circumstances and power and freedom that other players would not be afforded. So they're acting just like the Jets.
Since 2009, the Pittsburgh Steelers have exactly one more playoff win than the New York Jets.
What?
And,
what's that?
And let's keep in mind,
3-2.
The Pittsburgh Steelers went to the Super Bowl in 2010.
Wait, what's the total numbers?
Wow.
5-4.
Oh.
Still, I thought it would be light years.
So we're
those are the 2 years the Jets went to the AFC title game with Sanchez.
Yes.
Right? 2 years in a row, and then
Correct.
haven't done anything since. Wow.
Correct. So let's just frame this properly when we start talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers relative to the New York Jets.
Right. When we're saying they're not the Jets, they are the Jets.
Yeah. Last decade and a half, they have exactly one more playoff win than the New York Jets. So this whole culture around the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's been methodically deteriorating before our eyes. And Mike Tomlin has been putting lipstick on a pig in terms of making them seem more credible than they actually are.
So him being so great has deceived us to what's really happening.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin has been the ultimate deodorant for the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise.
Wow.
Yeah, and let's be clear about another thing. Art Rooney II, Dan Rooney, he is not. The proof is in the record.
Wow.
You aren't what we grew up on. You're no longer that. And the proof is waiting days before minicamp.
đây. Cho mày một tạ thôi. Đâu có gì cầu lông. Không quên cho vào đặt nào. Đâu, đâu. Có này mà có nước này. Nước này. Có bạn có mũi ở đây hả? Không không? Vâng, ban đầu là có phân phối mà nó sữa chuyển biến nhà sẽ phải luôn nha. Mới từ ban đầu vậy nên muốn sẽ cầm ngồi đây nước tay ra đây thế nào ngồi đây đó ai đó gọi đi là không đợi lên kìa lên